Good morning, I'm Colette Linden.
And I'm Dupuis. Welcome to the special report.
Happy Friday, May 1.
Happy Friday!
It is May Day today. It's also, May is Cystic Fibrosis Month, everyone. So that is a great fundraiser to help out. And there was a big walk that was planned for the end of the month at the John Rhodes Community Center, but it's now a virtual walk.
Lots of virtual things going on right now.
Absolutely, absolutely. So what's going on in the weather? It's a beauty day out there right now.
Beauty day, and I don't want to disappoint, but I'm so sorry this weekend. This weekend does not look so nice. I'm sorry, everyone. Currently today it is 18 degrees, and it is going to right now it's not that, but it is going to go up to that. And then we're going to have a low of 7. Heading into Saturday, it's going to be a high of 12 and a low of 4, and it's going to be a mix of sun and clouds, a little bit of rain in the afternoon. Heading over to Sunday, it's going to be a high of 8 with a low of 4, and again, rain. I'm so sorry, everyone. You are going to get a little bit of that mix of sun and clouds throughout the weekend, but the majority of the time it will be rain.
So enjoy today.
Yes, basically.
Okay. Well,
only today.
Why don't we go over and enjoy Chris and see what he has for us today?
Good morning, Sault Ste. Marie. Yes, today is a much better day than the last few, so that's awesome. However, weekend's a little iffy right now. So, as far as COVID-19 goes here in the Algoma district, we still have only 13 positive cases, and 11 of them have recovered, so we only have 2 positive cases right now in the Algoma district that we know of. We're still waiting for about 350 or so test results to come back. Last night, I had part 2 of my interview with Paris Marks, who is a master's student geography here in Canada, and we talk about public transit, both during times of a pandemic right now, and also how do we control the spread of disease during normal times when everybody can move around freely. So you can see that on Facebook Live. It's also on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. And back to the deck.
Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
So let's bust into some news. So as you know, there was a lot of financial economy talk yesterday. Let's start with the Premier. He will be on today at 1 o'clock when we are on, and he's going to be joined by the Minister of Health, the Minister of Economic Development, Vic Fideli, and the Minister of Finance. So some heavy hitters coming up at 1 o'clock. Okay, so on to news. We've got Algoma Steel is making some layoffs because of COVID-19 and the effects of the economy. Unfortunately, that's effective immediately, and it commenced a temporary layoff proceedings impacting approximately to 70 full-time hourly and salaried personnel, which is awful. And then a further 80 to 90 more will be displaced for full-time and part-time contracts. So that's unfortunate for the city.
That really is. And you know what? It sucks because we see a lot of our businesses right now, they're all tackling, and even with the survey that came out, it was incredible it's disheartening kind of to see those numbers.
For sure. Another disheartening, I know we're talking about, there's some news stories now that are coming around that is not surrounding COVID-19, but unfortunately we have to talk about the helicopter incident. As you know, there were Canadians there, you'll see on your screen, who were on the helicopter, 6 Canadians. They have released all the names. They did tell us yesterday that Abigail Culbrough of Nova Scotia was found, her body was found, and today we hear that the missing Canadian servicemen is Captain Brendan Ian McDonald of New Glasgow, Nova Scotia, Captain Kevin Hagan of Nanaimo, BC, Captain Maxine Miron from Trois Rivers, Quebec, Lieutenant Matthew Pike from Truro, Ontario, and Master Corporal Matthew Cousins from Guelph, Ontario. So hopefully it's upsetting, but we wanted to share that.
Well, thank you very much for sharing us with that, Colette. And other news, moving forward with our community news, there is a local tattoo company, one individual, Josh Smithers, who took it upon himself to start 3D printing.
Oh, cool.
So this is a 3D printed handle, actually, and what it's used for is when you're using the ATM, when you're using, to open doors. So they 3D printed this, and they're actually offering free COVID-19 packs. They've also 3D printed a few of the things to hold your masks at the back. There's also going to be framework. So there's the little packs that they're offering. See, you got the N95 outline that they've 3D printed, and he's also throwing in some gloves.
Wow,
and he posted this on Facebook, and we're going to be doing a follow-up interview with him sometime next week.
Absolutely, talented community guy.
Yeah,
good for you.
All by himself
and
too.
A tattoo artist. Maybe I might have to connect with him after we can get closer together to do a tattoo.
No, it's really, really great. And we also have news from Mapleview Nursing Home. The executive director, Tracy Givens, just wanted to make acknowledgement to two of her frontline heroes. She wanted to acknowledge Dawn Cook, who's been with Mapleview since 1997, has been dedicating a lot of her time to her patients and making sure everything's okay. And then as well as Shauna Deckers, who's also dedicating her time. So she just wanted to do a shout out to those frontline heroes.
Well, hello.
But moving into that, as everyone knows, Mother's Day is coming up.
Yeah.
So what are you doing Mother's Day right now?
Well, if you need flowers, we know the place where you can go.
do.
It's Tamar's Trends, and we have Tamar's Trends with us today on hashtag In This Together SSM. We are going to share that video with you right now. I'm here today with Tamar Tucker. She is the owner of Tamar Trends Flower Shop. Hello, how are you today?
Hi, I'm well. How are you?
I'm great. I've always thought one of the best jobs would be to own your flower shop and to see the beautiful faces and smiling faces of people when you get to deliver those flowers. So I'm happy to have you. I'm happy to have you here today. Unfortunately, we're sitting in a pandemic at the moment, and my first question to you, Tamar, is how has this affected your business?
Well, I didn't know what was going to happen, as everybody had no idea. It's impacted my business so that I am extremely busy. People are wanting to check in with their loved ones, and we're helping them do that, celebrate birthdays, anniversaries, sadly, sympathies as well. But it's really made my business busier for this time of year.
Oh, that's awesome. One of the unique things that I found out about your business is that when you're delivering your flowers, or actually you also deliver supplies. Is that correct?
Correct.
Right.
If that's necessary.
If that's necessary. That's very cool. So one of the aspects of your business is that you have videos that you would share with the person delivering, with the person receiving the flowers and the person who had wanted them delivered, to get that facial recognition. So can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Well, it's something that I came up with a while ago. In fact, I bought a GoPro camera specifically for it off of James at James Street Camera.
Nice.
Cameracraft. Let's try that again. Cameracraft. And we bought it specifically so that we could do that for people that are sending flowers from out of town, so that they could, at least get to see what the flowers are that they're sending and how they receive it, and the smile and all that, because we get to see that all the time. So then when this pandemic happened, I thought, oh my goodness, what a great way to be able to check in on your loved ones, because obviously we can't see them now. So when we do our social distancing drop off, we just step back a little bit and take their camera out, ask them if it's okay with them, in order to send a message back to the person who sent it to them.
That's awesome. Now, is there a certain business or certain, like, I know we've been doing a lot with the senior homes and everything. Where have you been delivering a lot to?
Not specifically to senior homes, because some of them are not accepting, sadly, anymore. So a lot of them are to apartment buildings, obviously, but mostly just everywhere around town. People are just wanting fresh flowers, for one thing, because it's springtime and tulips are hugely popular. But just to check in and to say we love you and we miss you and thinking of you, it's the perfect way to do it.
Well, I would say that you've got a great business going, and despite this pandemic, at least you get to see some smiling faces. So I want to thank you for that. And also, we'd like to remind everybody, it is Mother's Day coming up. So what flower is popular for Mother's Day typically?
Well, now, of course, tulips are still popular. People love hydrangeas, anything with color, really. Anything that I can get my hands on seems to sell pretty well. So any advance warning that I can get this year especially will make me able to do a better job for you. So that's a big thing for me as well. I do have a huge order in, so I do really, really need to sell it all, which hasn't been a problem lately.
Good.
But I am doing it all alone right now. So I will be being able to call my staff back in order to help with that. Otherwise, it's just going to be a one-woman show.
Well, you're one strong woman, so we thank you for that. Now, obviously, right now, Tamara, your storefront is closed, but you are located at 740 Queen Street East. And if you need to get ordered flowers, you want to call 705-254-9400 is your cell phone that you are accepting your calls on right now.
Yes.
And we want to thank you very, very much. And as your sign says in the back, I guess you are really living life in full bloom. So I appreciate that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, and have a great day.
You too.
Well, these are my tulips.
You're ready for Mother's Day.
I'm ready for Mother's Day. How awesome is it to deliver flowers and get to see the smiling faces on people. And the best part is that they get to have a video message sent with their flowers at this time.
Cool.
I know. We'd like to thank Casey Security for your sponsorship, and we'll be right back after this commercial break.
What's life without making a few mistakes down the road? A few sharp turns. And doing things for what we adore, but might regret later. A trip to Chuck's Roadhouse isn't one of them. With melt-in-your-mouth AAA steaks, buttery lobster tail, half-priced apps after 9 p.m., an ice-cold draft with all your Roadhouse favorites. Chuck's Roadhouse. Food the way it ought to be, priced the way it used to.
Welcome back. Thanks to Casey Security for your sponsorship. I think Chris should get us some flowers. What do you think?
That would be nice, but isn't he allergic? So wouldn't they technically not even get
What do you think,
You
Chris?
need to give us
You
some
gonna
fake
buy
ones.
some flowers?
No, because I'm allergic to them. I'm perfectly happy with our fake tulips. Like, they're fine. I can go anywhere near them and I don't sneeze or cough or nothing. They're great. I love those tulips. And they haven't died in like 2 years, so it's awesome. Okay, so we're going to talk about Quebec right now and education. Quebec has decided to reopen its schools and retail stores. I'm not sure what they are thinking here. We should be concerned about it being here right next to them here in Ontario because, for example, just yesterday, Quebec had 98 deaths. Yesterday was the worst day in Ontario for deaths at 87. So there's more cases of COVID-19 in Quebec than anywhere else in Canada. More people are dying from COVID-19 in Quebec than anywhere else in Canada. And Quebec wants to reopen its schools. Now, anyone who's ever been around kids knows that they are very efficient spreaders of germs. They touch their face, they put their hands in their mouth, they touch toys. It's next to impossible to keep kids from actually touching their face, putting their hands in their mouth, or any of that. And now the Quebec government wants to send them back to school. Well, we've seen just in Toronto, for example, there's seven daycare set up for emergency workers. One of those has already been shut down, and multiple people, including a kid in it, have tested positive for COVID-19, and all the kids that were in that daycare center are in 2 weeks quarantine. So there's an example of how just in a small little section of society what can happen. There's only 7 daycare centers in Toronto for emergency workers. Multiply that out across a whole province of schools and something similar happens. Quebec is not at a point where they are on the downward trend in terms of their COVID-19 cases or deaths. And it's, in my opinion, extremely irresponsible to be sending kids back to school there, or for that matter, opening the retail stores. If you need to buy a pair of jeans, go on Gap.com and order them and have them sent to your house. Don't go into a store and start touching jeans all over the place. And then the person that works in the store has to fold those jeans you didn't buy back up, put them on the shelf, and someone else touches it. This is a completely unnecessary risk for Quebec, and I don't understand it. I'll talk a little bit more about it on my show today, which you can see tonight at 7 p.m.
Awesome, Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
I know, he says things that it's like, yeah, why aren't we doing what Chris says?
I know.
It just makes sense. We want to just acknowledge Sioux College and the Sioux College Student Union for reopening their student food bank in conjunction with Algoma District, or Harvest Algoma, which you wanted to talk about as well,
Yep.
and the United Way. So if the students, we're worried about our seniors and stuff, but we have a lot of students here. We've got the university and the college, who are a lot of international students. So the food bank is back open there. So
That's awesome. A lot of the student unions have really stepped up, and even the students themselves too. Like with Algoma University, we know that they have their student relief fund going on, and Sioux College has theirs. So great job on you guys for doing that.
Awesome job. Well, we wish you an awesome Friday morning. And
Enjoy the
early afternoon.
day.
We'll be back at 1 o'clock when we have the premiere. We want to say thank you to Casey Security. Please go to SiouxOnline.com and click on the Algoma Marketplace on the right-hand side, and have an awesome, awesome Friday morning.
See you this afternoon.